Hi everyone, Tracy here. Today I thought I'd share with you how I made these little post-it note holders. They are made with bookboard or chipboard, and the chipboard is about 1/8 of an inch thick. I put one of my paper medallions on and I bound it with the Bind It All, and then you open it up and there is your notepad holder. So they're very simple to make, and once you start making them, or at least me, I just want to keep making them out of every color I have. So that's fun. So let's get started. Okay, so the first thing I did was I made a pattern, and how I made the pattern is I just used a piece of cereal box, and I punched the holes in my Bind It All because that's how I was going to bind it, and then I took the post-it notes and I put them on here so I'd make sure that the cover is a little bit bigger than the actual post-it notes. And this pattern measures 3 1/4 by 3 3/4. And then when I was finished with that, I took my bookboard or my chipboard, and then I just put the pattern on top of there and I traced it around. And then after I did that, I put the chipboard, I already did one side for you here, I put the chipboard through my Xyron machine and to put the adhesive on it, because I love to use my Xyron. I use it a lot because I don't like the messiness of the liquid glues, so I use this and it works really well. And then you just peel them off. And if anything didn't, this one looked like it covered up really good. But if there's any spots, especially on the edges that never got it, then I'd use some glue from, say, the glue stick or liquid adhesive. But usually take your X-Acto knife. And that's where I got my injury today. You know, if you use your tools for what their purpose is, they work really well. But when you hold things up in the air and cut them, yeah, it doesn't work too good. You end up cutting your finger. I know most of you know how to do this because this is how you do your mini books and your mini albums. But once I cut all the paper off, and this should probably have a sharper blade on it, and all the edges are pretty good, I like to take my sanding block and I like to sand the edges. Like I said, this is the same as if you were going to do a mini book. You do the same thing to adhere your papers. And I like this sandy block. This is fine grid for woodworking, but they're so much less expensive than the ones you want to get for scrapbooking, and also they're nice and wide, so you can sand a large area. They're not good for intricate sanding, but it's good for this. And I sand around all the edges. And then, so now that you're finished sanding the edges on both sides here, what I like to do is I like to take my Distress ink and not only do the edges here, but this part here is raw chipboard, and I don't like the looks of that. You can either paint it, but I just take my Distress ink and I just pounce on it, and it covers it. It covers it really well. And then you just go around, all the way around, and on both sides. You want to do both sides when you're distressing it. Okay, so now that you've distressed all the way around all the 4 edges on both sides, then you want to put it in your Bind It All. You want to center it as good as you can. You want it centered in between all those little notches, because that's what's going to put the hole in here. And I'm going to have to turn mine because I don't have enough strength to do it that way. I have to do it this way because this is pretty thick. Like I said, this is about 1/8 of an inch thick, so you got to have a lot of arm strength, which I don't have, to put that in there. And now that you have both of your front and your back covers, you have the holes in them, you're going to have to put your rings in. And these have 6 holes, so you cut out your six rings, and this is 3/4 inch size rings, and then you put them in here. You know how to use your Bind It All, and you just push it down. Then you have everything is bound, and you want the ucky part inside. Now that you have it all bound here, you're going to put your Post-it note holder inside. I like my Post-it note holder to match the papers that I'm using. I don't have any green ones. I don't even know if they make green ones, but I'm using the yellow one. There's a little bit of orangey yellow inside the flowers, so I can live with that. And I like to use a good tape on the back. You can, I'm wondering if you even just took this bottom piece off, if it would hold with that, but I'm not going to risk it. So you want to even that up. Get it in there nice and even. And then decorate the front. So then after everything's put together, and I did tighten the inside up. I didn't like that it was loose up here, so I tightened that up. And I put on one of my paper medallions that I had made. I have a tutorial on here for these. And these ones are a little bit smaller than the other ones I think I did in my other videos. This one I cut, the strips of paper, I cut at 12 by 1.5 inches. Then I punched out the border, and then I scored it at every 1/4 of an inch. So it's a little bit tinier than the ones I have on the video. But I like the looks of that. So there you have it. There are the Post-it note holders. I really enjoyed making these. And one thing I noticed is when I make something like this, I like to make a whole bunch of different colors. So I can see me making quite a few of these and giving them away. So I hope you enjoyed watching, and I hope you try them. So thanks for watching. Bye now.